We also have gone back to our roots. Thank you very much. I don't know if those of you are familiar with the SpeakerCraft story, but when the two founders of the company began, two hippies in a hi-fi store in Southern California back in 1976. 76, those of you that are aware, there was a lot going on back in 76. There were a lot of people that were experiencing music in a different format because component stereo became a reality. And all of a sudden, guys were coming back from overseas, and at the PX, they'd buy a Yamaha or a Pioneer or a Sansui, if you remember that name. But they would buy those and set them up. And the standard system was what? It was a receiver, a turntable, and two 12-inch three-ways. That's the way that you bought it, right? And unfortunately, these guys weren't that happy with the speakers that they were getting, so they started building their own speakers to put with the electronics. Worked out really well. Worked out really well. As a matter of fact, people got really excited, and they began to order the speakers en masse. Unfortunately, there were two guys. So they started a very interesting process. Build your own speakers. And on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, you could come down to SpeakerCraft, and in the back room, you could assemble your own cabinets and stain them whatever color you wanted. What kind of music do you listen to? Okay, here's your driver complement, and there's your crossover network. I still have people in Southern California that I walk up to, and they see me in a SpeakerCraft t-shirt, and they say, I've got a pair of those in my garage. And it's like, yes, thank you very much. But the point is, we started making speakers a long time ago. To go along with the other products that make sense, like our receivers or like the new Vital 250, we're building 3 different sets of satellites. They're going to be in the same gloss finishes that you see up here. They'll be available in a 3.5, 4.5, and 6.5 inch version. They'll have paper woofers and silk dome tweeters because, frankly, they sound better, which is kind of what we were after. So the point is that those will blend very nicely with subwoofers that do the exact same thing. We want to be able to get back to making a high-quality cabinet loudspeaker. Why? Because people, although they love the aesthetic of being able to put a speaker in the wall or put a speaker in the ceiling, there are still so many of them that want to be able to have a cabinet speaker to put on the shelf or put on a stand. So that's what we have returned to at this point. We also brought out a nice product that you can bury in the backyard. We refer to it as the Boom Tomb. Thank you very much. It is included in your literature there. It is a burial subwoofer, and basically the only thing that sticks up is that nice little port right there with the mushroom on the top of it. You want to add that to any of our Ruckus rock speakers or our OE outdoor speakers or our little OG ground-mounted loudspeakers. It's a fantastic application. The concept behind it is that it has a 10-inch woofer and a 250-watt dedicated amplifier, and it goes boom. That's the whole idea behind it. Once again, we'd like people everywhere to be able to benefit from higher quality sound. We also brought out the Profile line of loudspeakers. Those of you that are aware of the fact that we invented the in-wall speaker many, many years ago, hasn't changed a whole lot in all those years with regards to the technology. We've improved the drivers, we've improved the networks, we've tuned them and made them sound better, but the fact is the form factor remained pretty much the same. Well, now we have the product available in an absolute bezel-less format so that if people want to be able to see just a grill, which some people have requested, that is an option for them. We give that to them now. It'll be basically the entire line. There's about 9 models that it'll deliver originally, but the fact is that it is a very simple application. Flangeless magnetic grill, simple installation. One of the things we wanted to make sure of is there is still a flange behind that grill, because too many people that work with drywall realize that it is absolutely not a perfect science.
So one of the things that's really cool, everybody else takes a piece of metal and sticks it, anybody else that makes a product similar to this, they have a raw piece of metal that sticks onto this, and this has a flange that sticks out. What we've done is we've actually molded this into the flange, so you can order these ahead of time, paint them all for the job, and then drop the speaker in. Nobody else is approaching it that way, which will make it a lot easier for installers to put speakers in without laying cash flow right now. So if you're following me, the little plastic ring around the edge of this all gets painted first, and then this drops in, and then it magnetically sticks on. And one other thing that I want to say is, not much has changed in the in-wall speaker business since it started with us back in the early 80s, except for the pivoting tweeter, the pivoting woofer, and all of the pivoting speakers that we sell. You guys have covered that for years. All these new products, we've been able to make pivot with a thin surround or with a thin edge, which was a big challenge. So that's really exciting for the dealers to have pivoting speakers with grills that are integrated.